What is going on, everybody? Hope you are doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I am and I'm not. Um, I don't know what the heck is going on here. So, when I set up the stream, I make one of the first things I do is make the thumbnail. Then I go in and set up the stream because you have to update. You have to update it. Let me get that out of there, okay? You have to update the thumbnail and the description and the title and all that stuff. So I go in. I noticed this a couple streams ago. I go in. I start up start up the stream, and my thumbnail is my old one from the previous stream, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but whatever. And I noticed it was wrong, so I went in and I could fix it before we started. And then this time I was like, you know what, let me make sure. And it was the first thing I did was change the thumbnail over. Went in, typed everything up. I checked it before I went to schedule, and it was there, and I'm like, okay, cool. And then when I look, when we're getting ready to go on, it's the thumbnail's not changing. I know it does. I know it doesn't sound like much, but you know, I didn't do anything different. I haven't changed anything different, so that will be my Google searches for the next couple days. Is going to be that. I have to start acting professional. Oh my gosh. We had a good day at work, so I'm in pretty good moods. And channel's doing well. We're still progressing, so thank you, hopefully. But still waiting back to hear from YouTube for my first little big boy step. See, it says it could take up to a month. That's real funny. I looked to see how long the actual processing goes, and they said it could take up to a month for a solid review. And then I, checked people's comments on how long did it actually take you, and there's a bunch of people were like, "Oh, it only took a couple days," and "Oh, mine was done the next day," and "No, and then everybody else was like, "Yeah, it took almost a month," and "Mine was 4 weeks," and "Mine was 3 weeks," and I'm like, so now I have no answer. I feel worse about it. So sometimes you shouldn't look. So anyway, enough whining and crying from me, whinging. What are we doing today? Well, we got a couple things going on. First off, we got a few minor tasks that we need to finish. And we're going to do something awesome here that is, I'll explain when we do it. But we got a few tasks that we have to finish. I don't think the double XP weekend is still going on. It might be. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then we got to prepare for some fun out in the deep desert. With the start of chapter 3, and because I had nothing else better to do, I stockpiled a whole bunch of materials. A whole bunch. And we have just been working off of that, like spice melange, plastanium ingots, and other general supplies. The other day, I had to go for the first time in like months. Actually, first time since I made the video about doing it out in the deep desert, I had to go get some flower sand. I was like, what? But yeah, supplies are getting a little low. We are not out by any means, and we're still in great shape. But it's kind of like, we got the gas tank full. Now we're about half a tank, and I'm like, I could still keep going. But then when you get down to like, a quarter or below, that's when it's critical and gets scary. So we're going to deal with it before we get that way. That way I can get those good feelings. Oh, the double did end, Jiggy. Okay. Is what it is. I guess I could have checked that myself by seeing. Oh, yeah, it sure did. All right. But yeah, I get to experience that feeling of being way ahead of the game, and being set with my supplies all over again. And it was a great feeling the whole time. So 1 week. Plus, I miss the deep desert. I really do. It's been super fun, and met a lot of nice people, and why I'm in the guild I'm in. And yeah, so we're going to be heading back out. So that's going to be the tail end of it. Right now, because we're on a timer, I want to try to get these last 5 that I have to do done. I've got 2 hours and 53 minutes, so plenty of time. Okay, so this right here is what I was talking about. Wanting to, I have seen several other people commenting on not doing this mission. Somebody dropped one of the comments in one of my videos, said don't do Fremen finds because it's terrible. And I just saw another video today from a creator, and they were saying that this one's not very descriptive, and it takes quite a while. But I don't think it does. I think it's how you do it is what makes it. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to actually I'm going to disappear on you guys for a little while. But don't be afraid. It'll be okay. I'll be back, I promise. Because what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put together a video on this this mission right here live and in front of everybody, which is incredibly dangerous. Because the voiceover is the most problematic part of a video for me. I can do the footage pretty quick, and I'm pretty good at editing things together. I get a little long-winded. I'll always admit that. That's been me for decades, so you know what? But the voiceover part is usually very difficult. So, but we're gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna disappear. We're gonna keep my beautiful face right there. You move me back. I'm filling up the screen, for God's sakes. Okay. So, let's see. Let me go over here real quick. And I think I can do both of these. Let me check. It might use a whole lot of processing power. We'll see. If performance starts to fall down, we'll be going to it. I want to do this mission right here. And one of the reasons people don't like it is it's not very, point A to point B. With the hints, yeah. Once you figure it out, it takes no time. I don't even use the hints. It's just after the first time of running it, I kind of knew where I was going. So I'm going to go ahead and accept that. Oh, by the way, look at this. So we had, I can't even stay focused. My God. We got House Thorvald done, 1400, which is awesome. We ended up getting House Wallach up to 14,250, a little extra points, can't help it. We have Haggle at 4,000, so that's unfortunate. But we got Vorota at 14. We got 14 for House Waiku, and this one we're still low on. So we ended up getting 1, 2, Trace, and 4. 4 house swatches this run. That's what happens when they offer a double weekend, So we're going to do an exploration, and everything is full on exploration. And I don't think I need, I've done all of them, and it's way, way too late to try to start something new. And I also don't have the fortitude to try to do 10 missions in these. So we're just going to do it for these guys. Okay. I guess I should get into an ornithopter because it's going to be hard to get to Smuggler's Run from all the way out there. Before we go too far, let's see if, I don't think it is, but if Smuggler's Run is an option. Always dangerous to go in the menu when I'm flying, because that's how you get hit. Yeah. Could try to kill something in the off chance that it would show up, but I'm not that critical about it right now. Oh. Still flying on his broken ass ornithopter, man. Can't let it go. We'll be rolling this bad boy till there's smoke coming out of the wing or out of the engine. I'm going to try to put on my recording a video voice here. And then proceed to not speak at all. All right, so first I'm going to come over here. And we are going to bring up this bad boy, drop our bike down. Previously, I always went through the middle and got some height, but I found that it is the best and most expedient way to do this is to head around the edge. Oops. This location right here, we don't have to go here right now, but we will. So just remember that. But we're going to come around the outside edge here. And this part up here is where we need to be. So it says the cliff face on the eastern edge of the island, and that's what it's talking about. So I'm going to spin the bike around, and we're going to head up this way. I guess I should do that. Oh, we're having fun tonight, aren't we? Doing it this way is actually fun. Because if you watch any of my previous content, you know me and the Masquerade definitely have a history. And going to a place and letting them live is just kind of against my thinking. Oh, there's so many of them, huh? Tried to poison me. So we get the first one, and then we just... Oh, hey. What am I stuck on? There we go. So you get the first one. Preferably don't get... Oh my god, they're going to try to kill me. Where did you... How did she fall down with me? Or he. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to do that, but... Okay. Maybe this isn't such a good video. Sometimes it's worth it to show your mistakes as well. But yeah, you can get out of that without fighting. Just don't fall to your death like an idiot. Okay, remember that second place? Or that other place that we drove past that I said to remember? This is when we're going to remember it. Because that's the second place we have to go, underneath the wreck. I used to sit over here because that way when people were shooting at me, I had that rock wall to protect me. But honestly, I've started to get used to putting the bike over here. Right there in the hill. And then we'll run up this way. There's a chest on the left side here. Not that there's anything good, but we'll take it. So once you get here, you get to that second place. And there's no bad guys at all. They don't spawn until you get the item you're looking for, and then they show up. So you don't have to fight your way in, but you got to fight your way out. Or you can just run your way out, which is what we're going to try to do. Hopefully better than the one we just did a second ago. Jump over this. Down. They can shoot a bunch of darts if they want. And then we get over here. We come down to this area. And we do a big speed jump. And that brings us right over to this. That was a pretty good landing. And we're off. And now for the final place, which when I was going up and running around inside of this this map, I did sometimes have difficulty finding. It's so much easier to do it ground-based. We're going to come up here. And you're going to pass through this first gate and take a right. And then once again, we're going to spin the bike around. Make sure you get your shield up. And we're going to run through. There's a mixture of just regular gunners, heavy gunners like this guy. Girl, I'm sorry, I'm not having a good time with that. And there's some melee people. But we're going to try to bypass all of them. Drill shot. And then we pick this up. Now, when we head out of here, for some reason, I always get stuck right on that little edge. Apparently we can't jump over that, so whatever. But we're going to come out here. We're going to mix between knee charging and sugar wire if we have to. He tried. That landing wasn't so good. And we're gone. Now we're done. So it's actually a relatively quick and easy mission to do. The first time I did it, I was making it harder on myself. And it can be kind of fun to see if you can get through it real quick, real easy. There you go. Sure, we'll claim it. And now we're done. Guess I need to heal up a little bit since I hurt myself. Also, I've noticed that it just annoys me to have to walk all the way out to the old bird. So we take the bike. I don't know what happens if I get... Oh my gosh. I don't know what happens if I get too close to it, but we'll see. And there we are. Now we'll come over here. Oh. Boy, it's awful loud, huh? Hope you couldn't hear that in the background. Let's move over to this, and then we'll stop that. So, yes. So now I got that recorded. What I'll do is chop that up a little bit, take some of the stuff off the front and the back. I'm going to put that out as a full video. Kind of cheating, but we're going to go back. Oh, we're not. I guess we'll go in here. Because we want to look at some menu stuff. I just wanted to do the Fremen's Finds because when somebody tells you they're having a problem with something, there's a lot of different ways you could approach that. There's a good portion of the communities that's just like, ha ha ha, loser, which is wrong. The way I like to, sometimes people are like, oh, I'll help you out or I could do it for you. The way I like to approach it is, for whatever reason, you don't understand how to do it. Like there's a method and it hasn't occurred to you yet. So let's find out where the breakdown is. And that goes for me myself. There's so many things I can't do when I'm playing games, and somebody who comes along and says, okay, well, how are you approaching it? A great example of that was whenever we used to do raids, back in the game we don't want to mention, people would focus on the ads. It's like, no, don't focus on the ads, focus on the boss, and it gets the event over. And then sometimes it'll be like, okay, well, you can't focus on this boss. You have to do the ads because that helps, keep it. So it's just figuring out the way to do it. I'm thinking that they made them all those 3 locations so accessible so that we could use the bike. Um, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's not that big of a map, so maybe they didn't have too many options. But that canyon going in the middle, right after that first gate, doesn't have to be there. So why not make use of it? The reason we came in here was not because we're doing this dungeon, but we want to see the rest of this because we still got 4 missions to do. Before we do that, though, let's go here and look at what we did all week, man. Crazy stuff. So we are now at 26 in crafting. Did not put a lot of effort into this, but I'm happy where I'm at. Gathering, we pushed it up to 20. Just because. We are at 35 for exploration. I honestly was like, nah, not going to worry about this too much. This is a good category. Just, I didn't think about fuel efficiency. I didn't care about it. And damage resistance, whatever. But where you really get this, the backpack volume, the extra, the pack mule, the extra slots, and then just, the speed boost, sensor drain. This category is awesome. I should have paid better attention to it earlier. But yeah, that's why we got her up to 35. 37 in combat, almost 38. And then we actually went ahead and put some points into sabotage. So my order of importance now, I'm putting equal value on combat and exploration in just a general outlook. And then it goes crafting, gathering, and then sabotage. The reason I say that, I found your YouTube video for Dune. They've been incredibly helpful. The carrier ornithopter and spice harvester got me off. Easy start. Hey, that is awesome, dude. Great. That is cool. That's why we do it. I'm going to be out in the deep desert next week myself, so put some refinement to those skills. But glad it helped, man. That is awesome. And just like that, I don't even remember what I was saying. That's how happy you made me. But, oh, yeah. The reason for that is combat is always going to be, and when I first was playing, I was like, oh, this is going to be PvP. But no, I mean, it does happen in PvP, but also in just regular PvE fighting. I think this came from the fact that I got a little lazy and there was nothing that really could hurt me. I had to screw up, put myself in a dumb spot, get mobbed, get gang, like run into an area trying not to kill everybody, and then they all just followed me in, and now I've got, me fighting 4 NPCs. But I didn't really think combat was going to be that big, but I knew that the PvP players were going to push it. I didn't realize just how important that is, even for a PvE setting, until I experienced the dungeons and that increasing level. The other thing to point out with that is this is chapter 3, okay? Chapter 4 is coming. This isn't going to go away with chapter 4. They're going to have to up the ante a little bit. If you're not focusing on combat advancement, I think chapter 4 is going to be a little tough. Not the story mode. The story mode, they kind of keep it low-keyed. And I do like that because, you can't make the story mode elite player status unless you have the ability to set difficulties. Think of it as like a Battlefield or Call of Duty campaign where you can do it on easy. I don't want to say easy, but beginner, veteran, elite, that kind of thing. Story mode should always be really easy, even for like type alphas and veteran players, just because it's story mode. This shouldn't be hard. This is building the world. But these dungeons that we can change the difficulty on, season 4, we're going to need to be You know, they're going to build off of what they've got right now. So combat is going to be huge. The exploration I ignored in the beginning, but that was a mistake because I looked at it and was like, "Oh, fog of war, who cares?" And honestly, I still don't. Um, Loot in loot containers, it's nice, depending on what it means. You know, stamina cost for climbing. The only time I climb is when I accidentally get too close to a wall, but still. But yeah, there were a lot of great things in exploration, and this backpack volume has been huge. Um, and then the crafting and the gathering. The reason I put crafting above gathering is because um, I feel like even though I gather more stuff than I do crafting, the crafting is more important. I mean, this is literally just bonus yields from minerals. I mean, 5%, yeah, but all this does is just make my farming runs go like a little bit faster. They're already fast enough, in my opinion, and I don't have a problem with it. Do I want to go faster? I guess. I don't know. But, so that's why I put the crafting, because this is the stuff I'm using to make things happen, specifically fighting. So it kind of goes hand in hand with here. Sabotage, I still really haven't figured out yet. If you like sabotage and if you see value in it, share. Let me know. Because, I mean, yeah, it's cool and all, but is it worth it? That's not until we get some of these other things. All right, decapitation strike. I absolutely hated this mission the first time I did it. It's not so bad now. This is the one where I make a joke about the fact that, like, we're just killing the command structure. You. Why not? We're just killing the command structure of the sandflies. And everybody gets promoted. So when I first started, you allows you to go vulture without losing speed. Yeah, dude, the vehicle speed alone. And my original thoughts on that was, yeah, it'd be nice in case you're running away from somebody, but if you're not really that big on going into fighting zones, you don't really have to run away from people. But just the fact that you can get, even in Haga, just going back and forth. This is taking long. Hello. Sandflies. So I'm not trying to talk. Boy, man, what is going on here? Not trying to talk down to Funcom, but I've just kind of seen in forum posts and Reddits and stuff. There we go. That people are seeing server issues, trying to get from one place to another, and it just seems to stutter. And not having a good experience once you get somewhere, a lot of rubber banding, a lot of things like that. And one of the issues that I have is I'm not allowed to put more than like 20 projections in my base. And I'm only allowed to have a certain amount of lighting. I don't mind the fact that I'm being limited, but the reason you're being limited is server processing. It takes time to render. So they limit the amount of lights. Of course, the sandflies here can have as many lights as they want, apparently. But as far as bases go, it causes a problem. And you may notice that sometimes you'll go to a section of your own base and it gets a little choppy. There's even instances if you put projections on the outside of your base, when people move their field of view across it, it'll stutter them. It'll start dropping the their frame rates. Performance is terrible on Epsilon Eridani in certain places. That's what I'm talking about. They want to condense our servers down. I get it. They want us to be, more populated. I get it. Man, your servers better handle this. I'm a nice guy, and I try to kind of keep it low-keyed and chill. But if you ruin my experience by moving me to another place when your servers can't handle that many people on it, I'll be feeling a certain way about it. Okay, so this one. Kill the Sandfly Sergeant to get the command frequency. When I first came in here, I fought my way through and slaughtered all of them, and and it took for frickin' ever. And then I killed the sergeant, and then it was like, oh, now you got to go kill the lieutenant. And I'm like, okay. So I went kill the lieutenant. I was like, all right, we're done. No, now you got to kill the commander. And if you think about it, fighting your way through all of this, you got a lot. You got all these douchebags here. There's like 2 or 3 here. There's one guy walking around. He's over there now. He just walked behind those boxes. You got the snipers in the towers, plus the guys in the middle. And then that's just the door. When you get to the base where the sergeant is, there's a bunch of guys running around. Go to the lieutenant. There's a bunch of guys running around. And then there's a whole bunch up here where that commander is. So what I have found is the best way to do this. And the only reason I'm suggesting it, I'm not trying to take away from your fun. If you want to kill them all, by all means. If you want to kill 20 of them and then run away, I don't care. Play how you want to play. But for me, after the 30th or 40th time of doing this, I kind of just want to get it done and get my points. So we're going to come out here, and we're going to super jump. I swear that 10% additional suspensor belt is awesome. And it looks a little weird, but you're aiming for this part right up here. I'll go ahead and pull my rapier out. And the sergeant is this guy, or girl, depends. Once they're dead, just jump back up front. Boy, that guy followed me forever. And you're going into this little middle level here, which is kind of hard to get to, depending. Stop shooting at me. There's always a flamethrower person around here, but we're not afraid of fire. Big deal. Guess we'll put the flames out. Don't need to be running around like Ghost Rider. Man, there's a lot going on back there. And then here, I aim for that ramp. This one right here. At a full run. You could, I guess, do a power jump here. It usually upsets the guys on the left. But if you just run into this room, there's a lieutenant. Then you just want to come right out here. And we'll go up this way. And now you got to head up there. That area is a little rough to try to power jump through. All of this area is actually. Because I'll try to do it, like use it as a ramp or something. And then that kind of stuff happens. So I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here, but it's a little cheesy. So you just come up these steps and all this. I have to do it the hard way now. I have made it up to this platform before from the ground. Just doing a power jump, more height than anything else, which was pretty sweet. So I'd come up here and I grab this chest because there's usually some plastanium materials in there, and then I would kill these guys and they run over and set the alarm off and more guys come out. So we don't mess with that nonsense anymore. We come right over here. Now, even though that person said they found me, they didn't shoot at me right away. They're actually going to set off the alarm. You'll hear it in a second. Come in here and pick this band up. There's the alarm. And then we jump right off here. Now they're going to come out and be annoyed. They can get through that door if they want to. See? But at this point, we don't really care. And from here, we're going to get up on the helicopter blade here, the thopter blade, and we power jump our way out. Until I get some more bonuses, I can't maintain the whole way across. I'd love to. But by the time you get down here, your jump is already set up again. I like to come down here because there is a sniper. It's like right up in there in that tower. And sometimes if you're taking too long, they do not like you and get very angry. But then you just point at the thopter and we're gone again. What's really fun about this, though, is when you get somebody who's like a drill shot and they hit you as you fly by and you're like, do I try to land on the ground and dodge it? Or do I just accept the fact that I'm about to take some damage? My advice, you're going to take damage. By the time you get to the ground, you won't have enough time, unless you're really skirting close to the ground. You won't have enough time to dodge it. Yeah, Jiggy, we could build a hologram room. That would actually be kind of neat. You know, you build a hallway that all of a sudden is full of projections and everything. As soon as they come around the corner, they start jittering, and then from the other end, building traps. We're being bad peoples. I'm going to finish out combat. There's a whole bunch of other stuff I would love to have done, but we're just gonna finish out combat. This mission, by the way, sorry, this one. I don't like this mission at all. I learned how to do it pretty quickly, but I don't enjoy this one. But it is a great one to pair up with the Opifier, because you're relatively going to the same areas. And I don't like doing this mission, but because I like you guys, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. I want to check to see if there's anybody in gathering. No. Already finished you. And no, I didn't do it. Okay, so gathering, it won't matter where my points go. I'm about to sneeze. It's trying to get away. It's funny how I said I want to finish up with combat, and then I'm immediately going to do 2 missions that aren't in combat. But we got false flag strike, so doing pretty good. And now I'm going to give you a master class on combining missions. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to accept this one. This is the turning the deserters against each other. The first step of this is you have to go up and you got to kill Cassian and take his cool gun. That is also, that's fine. That is also the first step in Opifier operation, is to go to that exact same spot and open up a little scroll that tells you where the Mentat is. So the first steps of these 2 missions are the exact same spot, which is totally cool. Field testing is not. The first step of this mission is actually the second step here. So we're going to start out, do these 2. We're going to go to the first area, and then we're going to carry that guy's gun, and we're going to go over, grab the guy for the start of this mission, and then we're going to do all of the vehicles that are missing. The first step to this is the second step here. So we're going to start with these 2. Then we're going to do this one. While we're doing this one, we're going to then switch over to this one, which is going to bring us back to finishing off here. Once we finish this one off, then we have to go back up and drop off Leon's gun, and then that mission is finished. But the ending spot of these 2 missions is the same area. So that's what we're going to try to do. I got Opifier and we got field testing. I really don't like field testing. I try to be as efficient as I possibly can. whenever I'm doing anything. So if we're gonna go to a place, being able to knock out 3 missions all at the same time, that's just super awesome in my book. Okay, so here is Blushing Cavern, and in we go. Another issue with this mission is you fill up your inventory super quick. Between having to cut through crystal nodes, and I can't stand the fact that we end up having whenever you like cut a ray on a vehicle, you get scrap metal. It makes sense. I just don't like it. Wish I could turn that off. All right, so it says here to locate the first ground car. You'll see that it's over here, but you'll notice that these two are completely close. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the Landsraad missions, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to track the false flag strike. No, we're not. We're going to track... Honestly, field testing is the best one to track. And it starts over there, but that's where the mentat is. So, we are not going to do this. I've done this several times. It's one of my favorite combos to do. So I don't really have to switch through. I did not get enough height. This is why I need the web crawler thing, right? So I don't have to switch through the tracking, but if you do, go for it until you get the pattern down. It starts making a little more sense. I saw that bouncing. You fun com. But yeah, leave the tracking on any mission you have to. I prefer to do it on the ground cars one because there's 5 of them and it takes a little while to get used to it. So we're gonna kill this. That's good enough. Man, he went down quick. Then we're gonna kill... Oh! I ran before I reloaded. Look at this. We got 2 melee people here. You can fall down anytime you want. Alright, got one. Now, even though we can't see it, we are getting credit for Leon. Sorry, Cassian. Whichever one of these. Now, we killed this person. Even though we can't see it, we're going to take that gun and we're going to hold on to it. And then we got to come over here because this is the piece of paper that we have to read in order to find out where they stuffed the mentat. But we're going to ignore all of that and we're going to head to the first ground car, which is over here. So we're going to take this guy and we'll do our power jump. That was a good one. Because the first ground car is sitting right there. But I'm going to bypass this. Because the mentat we need is laying over here. Perfect. So now we're going to break this thing up. I have found, personally, I like trying to... Because you got to break them with your cutter array. I like doing the tops better because it's 1, 2, and then I'm sorry, it's 1, and then it's 2, and then 3, and then it explodes. Otherwise, you got to get over here with the treads that come flying in your face. Crazy stuff happens. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but and also they make you stand so stinking close that your cutter array doesn't work the way it's supposed to. And then right here down the middle, which Have to get off the side. Now, that blew up. So now the second ground car, way up there. But, that's the way we gotta go. Hurt my ankles. Normally, I would just move over and kill these guys, and we'd head down, because that's where the Mentat mission's taking us. But we're gonna skip all that. At least for now. Oh, let's let that regenerate a little bit. A little too much energy loss. So see, you can't really go up to the front one on this, so we have to do this backside. There's a dead guy laying here. He's got some nice stuff on him. I mean, you're already here, right? There we go. That's broken. Now, when you're at this point, I would suggest that you come in here and just drop however much of this stuff you got, because you're getting a whole bunch. Now we got the next one, which is way over there. 120 some meters. We're going to power jump, but we're going to aim for that. That was a good one, boy. We got some speed. It's right here. Oh my goodness. There we go. If you move around, sometimes you can get a decent cut. Sometimes you can't. See, like that. Alright, we got our third component. Now we're going to switch off, because the next ground car is this way. I don't try to do a power jump until I get through this, because I always hit it. It's a me problem, though. Sometimes, if you're sneaky, they don't even know you're here doing this. Once we do this last cut, we're going to head that way. Eventually. Got some armor plating. Cool. Oh, they got angry, but it doesn't matter. So we just run straight out of there. And this fifth ground car is actually where we need to go for the mission with the setting the people up like they're fighting with each other. So Cassian was up there, Leon's right down here. So it leads us right to him. And most of the time you can, I have been able to sneak in here at some points. Tried to get away. I have been able to sneak in here without any problems. And, dude, fall down. Thank you. But I snuck in here without having to fight everybody. But, ooh, didn't even know you were there. Got a little dicey. Alright, so now we've neutralized the camp. But what you can't forget to do is, even though it's not telling you to do it, make sure you drop that gun off. And the next vehicle's right around the corner here. This one always hits me in the face. That's why I stand on this side. Oh, you're up here. Okay. now that that's all done, we're going to come over here. We'll do some power jumping. Oh my gosh, we screwed it up. I did not think we were going to clear that, but we did. Then we come up here, and as soon as we drop off the gun at this nice little blue spot, that mission with the setting up the guys to think they're fighting each other is done. Only thing we got left to do is to go to the ornithopter and get done. So that mission's completed, and we kind of did it on the way around to all the places we have to go. So, free mission. Let's go ahead. We will reload, and we're going to see if we can take care of these dingleberries. Right here. Oh, good shot. Can I drill shot you from all this way? Nope. Alright, so land over here. Because he can try, but he can't hit you. Shoot that person in the butt. Ooh, from that poison, he was already hurting. And then we're going to come down here. Anytime you come down this into this cavern, I would highly advise you to deal with everybody that's down here. Oh, I did get it. I didn't think I was going to get the parry. Deflection, whatever it is. Okay, so for this one, technically all I got to do is go to where that car is. But there is a chain gunner and then a regular dingle. And there's the dingle. So we're going to deal with these guys. Bastard. Nice little chest here if you want to grab this stuff. If not, don't. But we're going to come up here. And we're going to fail to jump up. Pull out our cutter array, and this is the final ground car. One. This might be a rough one. Oh, we got that nicely. What are we doing here? Do it the hard way. So now this mission's done, exit the cavern. I'm going to go ahead and switch to open fire operation. We'll track that because it's telling us to go right over there. Uno. Dos. Ah. Go away. Thank you. Cut our way through this. And now it's telling us to exit the cave. I'll take you and you. Well, we'll grab you too. Mark 5. That's what I have. So now we have to exit the cave. All 3 missions are completed, basically doing one circuit around, which is pretty nice. Come up here, come around, look for dead guy. Make sure you're charged fully up, straight up. And back to the Thopter. Not my favorite missions, but fact that you can get 3 different missions done all in the same spot, that's awesome. Boop. There's 1. There's 2. And there's 3. So there we are. That should have done it, right? Or do I have one more? It did it. So now we're done. Pretty quick and easy. How far I am in the new skill tree? I'm in the 20s, Bob. So I don't think I've got anything that's broken 30, although we just did some missions, but I don't think they were enough to get it. And I'm at least focusing on 2 to 3 trees every time. There we were just wanting to get missions done. Depending on when you left, might be quite a different landscape, huh? Blurred fizzle of grains ran into the tent before he could immobilize it with the static compaction tool. A hole grew in the sand wall as the tool realigned the grains. Spam the weekend, hell yeah. Anytime in any game when they say there's going to be bonus XP, double XP weekends, that's the time to play. That is the time to play. I don't know who this guy is, but he's got a pretty interesting setup for a hangar there. It's pretty nifty. Might be kind of fun getting into. You really gotta... But kudos, dude, you know? Oh, he's got a donkey statue, too. Hell yeah, you do. Nice. Easy. Nice color changes. Color schematics. I like that he's got a secondary. I guess, I don't know how you get from one to the other. Guess you're not meant to. And he's using the swatches. This is neat. Very unique base as well. This has been here for ever. It didn't actually look like this. It was partially finished, and I don't know if they gave up or what. But it's fun to fly through. It does cast a neat shadow. All right. My best friend, dump box number 1. 66, so that's good. Yeah, it does look like a stunt ramp. It got me thinking, man. Okay. I actually have to go to the bathroom real quick, so I'm going to hit the be right back button, and then literally I will be right back. We're only halfway through, and I'm already bailing. But give me just a few minutes. I'll be right back. It's all the coffee and soda you saw me. Plus, I got a peanut butter Girl Scout cookie that's calling my name, and I got to eat it before Eli finds out about it because he'll be standing back there. So, I already gave him some cookies, so he got his share. I'm not being mean to him, but he's being extra greedy. So, give me a few minutes. I'll be right back. I'm such a weak-willed person. I gave him that cookie anyway. He's my boy, and I love him. But I didn't let him in. But anyway, okay. So there's the first phase done. That's really what we needed to do. I usually go through here and I do screenshots because I'm not going to remember these houses that I get the rewards from. I normally don't pay attention to the other stuff. It's just at this point the placeables. But if you're looking for some of these items, that's what I do. I'll screenshot it. I guess technically I could write it down, but you know, how old school is that? Well, I'm old, so actually it would be like to chisel it into a tablet or maybe scrawl it on some papyrus or something. But so I've already done that, and the stuff we did tonight, I'm sure somebody here's got yeah, see? So someday I'll go to House Nova Roms and I'll get that. Not really worried about 10k Solari. Twice. They're actually close. I know where they are. They're over in the Odham. So killing fields. Anywho. So there's that. Now we got a couple things to do before we get ready to head out into the deep desert tomorrow. Like I said when we started, I have been coasting along on supplies, and we're starting to get low. This is a box that I use for my lunch. That used to be almost completely full. Now it's at about half. Like I said, that's still a pretty decent amount, especially for just, you know, buying skills and stuff like that now, and some of the equipment and stuff that I have to make. But I kind of liked it when this was. I kind of like it when it was up here in the red. I made an old comment. I was born before this, so there you go. It's amazing I'm able to turn my computer on, right? That was timing. But anywho, so we want to get this back up and a little more full. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we got 2 batches in here, don't we? We sure do. Oh, look, I got extras. We'll stick it in the buggy. Why did that happen? Okay. So even putting this in here, oh, well, now we got that. No, I'm kidding. And as you can see here, our spice sandbox ain't got nothing in it. That's a small field, partially small field. We'll put this in here. How terrible. Ugh, look at that. It's just a storage container. But anywho, I actually have 2 boxes of that because I try to make fuel cells and filters and stuff, and 1 step forward, 15 steps behind. But anywho, so like I said, with that, and then over here is our plastanium boxes, and we used to have so much plastanium that we'd had. There we go. 1. Trust me, that's 2. That's 3, and that's 4. And storage box 1, it's pretty close. You know, not bad. But 4 ain't got nothing in it. 3 ain't got nothing in it. Neither is that one. So we are very low on that. I think I have some in here, though. I do. Look at that. What I'm talking about. The buggy comes in again. We'll see if we can build this up any better. This I actually gave to somebody. I gave like 2K plastanium to somebody. A guildmate needed some. So I was like, hey, I got some. It's just sitting in boxes waiting for use. And now you got to use. So my goal is to head out, and because I'm not specifically requiring any single item, we're going to basically do the whole gamut. We're going to do plastanium. We're going to get the materials and process it on site. And we're also going to be doing some spice. And then occasionally we're going to throw in some testing stations, some caves. We're going to see what kind of trouble we can get into. But I'm going to spend a majority of the time out in the deep desert. And definitely on the streaming days, we'll be out there the whole time. So Wednesday, Saturday, we will be 100% out there. My off times, I'll probably run these missions, try to get this stuff clear. I may tear the base down Sunday, so that way Monday we could just finish up anything we got to do. And I've got to start getting into more of the dungeons. I've been doing the electric one for the most part. I've done the other ones. I had a great fight with the darkness guy. Oh, a fellow melee fighter. We had a great time. Don't like the Suboid one all that much, but the melee guy is awesome. The fireflies, I guess they're called, because they're sandflies, but they like to set things on fire. Masano. Don't like that one. I'll do it, but I don't like that one. I went to the poison one once. That's about all she wrote, man. And then the radiation one I've done several times. It's so much better now that I've got that tactical suit, which has some armor value to it, which is pretty good. But yeah, it's nice having some armor value. That definitely changes things. But yeah, so what are we doing? We're going to spend most of our time in the deep desert, so I'm making a combo base. And I want to make sure that this thing, by the way, every now and then, just to be safe, throw your torch on. Make sure it's okay. I haven't touched this thing in weeks. Since chapter 3, really. I haven't taken it out to the deep desert. It's just really sat here. I have accessed it for moving materials and things like that. She took some damage somehow. She shouldn't. She's been safe inside. But yeah, check this thing out every now and then, because if it ever breaks, everything lands on the ground, and after a while it's going to despawn. I don't know about you, but if my cargo container broke and everything hit the ground, it would be a devastating loss. I have so much stuff in this thing. It looks a little weird because I did have a project for some content that I'm making, so I needed to go out and build a small base, which I've already done and torn down. But I'll be able to replace these open holes here. I bring extra, more than I definitely should. It's better to carry more than less. I'm still barely over half of this. I gotta put pumps back. Now, fuel cells is interesting. Anytime you build somewhere, you're probably going to find a fuel cell spawn close to you. So you really don't have to bring them. And I use fuel cells just kind of to get things started. I'll make a couple generators, like 4 or so. And that'll get the base going, at least so the shields will be up in case something bad happens. But I don't really run it too much after that. That's for decoration. These are extras. Got some bodies. Get the stills going. That's good. I usually make 5. Oh my god, more. Wow. Usually make 5 of these for power generation up on the roof. And you stick 100 in each one, and you don't have to worry about it. It's going to run for the rest of the time you're out there. Then we got a blank space here. This is where some buggy components are going to go, because we got the crawler here, including some backup pieces. These guys are getting a little hurt. Leader John's full of water. That's also to get things going. What I like to do when I make my combo base is I'll get out there. I put up some wind traps, 4 or 5, depending on how crazy I'm going to be out there, the big ones. And I usually have 2 death stills. So once I get the base built, I will throw 2 bodies in the death still, and then I'll head out and I'll go, usually since I'm building on the shield wall, I'll get enough stuff to get a batch of plastanium going. I'll come back, I'll dump it into the storage boxes, and then I'll get the strontium fibers rolling. So it's pretty quick, and it's the first step. And then I'll go check on the bodies. I'll pull these things out. I'll drop them into the water tanks to fill those all up, and then put them back into the cargo carrier. Usually by then I can head over and start getting a decent amount of plastanium running. So that's why I've got, 17 liter johns full of water just sitting in here waiting. What I usually do, you'll see some of the broken ones I put in here, so I don't have to really depend on it for the moment. Like this one's starting to get a little damage. Once they start coming in orange, that's when we empty them, throw them away. I'll make a new one or so. I'll check with my own water, one I carry around on myself, and in case it gets hurt or damaged. I've been thinking that this is what I carry around, but you know what? I never get into a position where I'm that thirsty. I don't need to carry the 10K. So I'm thinking about dropping it just because it's 15 volume. I'd go in a little smarter with it. We'll see. I've got some schematics for fancy ones. But yeah. And then, of course, we got some welding wire. Here's another thing. There's always going to be scrap metal laying around. Always. I like to bring it just so I don't have to go. I just want to get the base built. Then we'll worry about that. So carrying some scrap metal, Crescent usually have scrap metal, but we got a couple things here. Um, just off the top of my head that we're missing. We definitely need more of these, which is good because we have a bunch. Um, I could put those materials back in, and that will get me the rest of that stuff. I need to bring the copy of my gun, my base. I don't have that gun in here for some reason. And we have to take the buggy apart and get it over. So that's what we're doing here right now. So it makes me feel bad. Kind of keeps me grounded on how popular I am because no one's ever taken my spawn out in the deep desert. Hopefully they don't. Even if they do, it's not going to get you anywhere because I have 3 different spots that I usually take. So guess you could take them all eventually, but that'll take time. We might want to bring the still suit. Yeah. There's a big, I wouldn't say there used to be a big discussion. Now it doesn't really matter that much to people, but whether or not you should wear a still suit or armor. And in the beginning, I was very rarely ever not in my still suit, even when I'm fighting people, because I never let my shield go down. And the very few times that it did, I paid a price. Oh, excuse me, for not having a decent armor value, but we've kind of fixed that problem now where Valari still suits has got a much higher volume or armor rating than what we used to wear. But, to be honest, when I'm out in the deep desert, the sun will do some serious damage to me. Not because it's so dangerous, it is, but because I'm so dumb. I will get myself stuck in building, so when you're in the building menu, you don't see it. You do see your water level, but if you're not paying attention, so when you're building stuff and you're in the scan gun, you'll be sitting there heat stroking out. I have actually been building and then I was like, I'm going to take a break. And I just kneel down. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm dying now. When I go out in the deep desert and do spice, I don't want to have to worry about overheating or dying from the sun causing problems. It's really not an issue because you're normally not out of your vehicle for long enough for it to really occur. But yeah, so I'm going to bring the still suit along. We're going to stick that in carrier. Actually, no, we're not going to stick it in the carrier because I'll need that when we're putting the base together. So we'll put that on ourselves when we're done. But I'm not seeing anything that I wanted. And it won't be in the dump box. So now, my dumb little behind has to run around here and figure out where I placed the Solido gun. That needs to go. Actually, we'll put that on us because there's no real volume weight to it. I have a backup one, and that we're going to stick into the carrier ornithopter, the carrier container. The reason I do that is because once you scan your base, it's stored in the gun. When you go back out and you use it again, it consumes it. I guess is that the best way to say it? The gun gets broken when you do that. So, by us bringing one already with us, I don't have to worry about losing the pattern. That's why I just do it. And then when I get back, I'll make another one and we'll stick it back up into the carrier container. And then we'll see. My base, the way I have mine built when I do a combination of spice and plastanium, I need one of these. I've made like 4. I just stuck them in here and then I use them as I need them. So I got 2 weeks. We got to go get These guys. Thankfully, though, I know exactly where those are. Before we go in there, this right here. Thought about making a video about this, and I did record some footage, but then I was kind of lost interest in it. But I'll tell you guys about this right now. This is one of the hidden gems in the skill tree. Um, so bonus yield chance, 30%. I'll tell you right now, spoiler alert, bonus yield means double. So if you're making something and it's going to make 1, it'll be 2. If you're making something that comes out as 10s, it'll be 20. This is huge. This is really huge. The reason is because over here, when we look at, oh, look at that. For silicone blocks, it's helpful, but it's not that big a deal. For cobalt paste, styridium fibers, anytime it pops one of these out, it might be 2. But for everything down here, your spice-infused fuel cells, low-grade lubricant, and all that, they come out as either 5 or 10, which means if it makes one and you get that bonus yield, it's going to pop 20 of them out. One thing about this, I've always hated playing games that aren't very specific on bonus chances. Like a chance of something dropping. Oh, you've got a good chance or a 20% chance of dropping, or it's in the loot table kind of stuff. Let me know right out of the gate what's going to happen. In case you're not aware, let's get real smartsy right now. You have random, like RNG, just a random number generator, RNG, which is a number on the table. You've got chance and you've got probability. They're all basically the same thing. It's just different ways of saying it. When you look at probability, probability is a hardcore mathematical calculation. In this case, we're seeing probability where it says there is a 30% chance of getting a bonus yield. When you say there's a chance for something, best way I look at it is, let's say you and I are driving down the road and I'm speeding and you look over and you're like, hey man, there's a chance there's a cop up here. You've got nothing to base that off of except the fact that maybe there is one. So it's more of an intuition or a gut feeling. And then RNG is simply a table where a random number is generated, and then that random number is compared to a pre-existing table where that number coordinates with an outcome. So if there's like a random drop that you could get, such as schematics, what it does is it just pops a number out, 8. Then it looks at a table and says, oh, 8 is an ancient way. There you go. The reason I can't stand companies when they do RNG is because they play very loosey-goosey with the concept. If I, let's say, make a table with 100 entries, and one of them is irradiated slag, and the other 99 are fuel cells, I can still say, well, it's random what you're going to get. It's still true. You only got a 1 out of 100 chance of getting slag, but it's a random number. Who knows what you'll get? I do like the fact that Funcom, when they did this, they're very specific on their chances and their probabilities. They give you the number directly. And one thing about math, I've seen so many videos of people saying, oh, if you have a chance of getting something from a mission and you do it and you don't get it, are the chances better or worse after that of getting it? Is it better, like your chances are going down over time, or are they going up over time? And then you get to do all sorts of crazy stuff. Is it dependent or is it independent, whatever? Basically, the way Funcom does it, there's a 30% chance every time this happens that it might happen. If it does, great. If it doesn't, who cares? Next time, 30% chance. So it doesn't build up on itself. And the good thing about that kind of concept is the more you do it, the closer to that number you usually see. So if you do it 10 times, there's no guarantee you'll get 3. You might get 4, you might get 2, you might get 7. But if you do it 100 times, you're probably going to get really close, within range of 30% chance of 300. I did this, and in both cases, I was within maybe 5% of that 30% chance. So numbers are holding strong, but it's way more apparent when you're doing things that have, when it doubles instead of becoming, instead of 1, it was 2, instead of 10, it was 20. So the reason I'm pointing that out is because between the missions for the Tyke and my chemical refinery popping out, we are doing so good with this. That's huge, because this just lets me be a lot more efficient with my irradiated slag. So what we're going to do here, because volume might become an issue, we're going to do 200. Wow, that was awesome. Normally not that accurate. I'm going to drop these 55 out and we'll put that there. My combo base, I have 2 spice generators. Spice infused generators. So put 100 in each one of them. Just don't have to worry about them. That'll last well over a week. So we'll be done, and then we'll just bring anything home. That's probably where the ones that we had in here were from. But yeah, definitely a hidden gem in the crafting section is to get additional yield out of your medium chemical refinery. That will solve your energy problems for quite some time. You haven't hit chance on spice refinery? I have not either. I don't think I did. Yeah, I don't even know where it is. Don't know what those are. $45. So we're getting close. Not really. I'm at 26. That was horrible. That made me feel bad inside. I was like, oh, we're not far from that. Oh yeah, we are. Got mixed up with the 38 and 35 down there. It'd be interesting to see if it holds the same, if it doubles it. Could you imagine getting 400 spice in a single batch? I mean, 10% of the time, not a big number, but like I said, over the course of 100 batches of spice, it'll probably be pretty close to the 10 mark. And I've been consistently unlucky in every game I've ever played with RNG. To the point that the people I played with knew that, and it was a running joke. Got the 52? Good God. What are you in combat, Jiggy? So yeah, you're 20. I didn't even realize I had a 10% chance. Okay. Back to the task at hand. Which actually we're kind of in pretty good shape. I need to wait and see, fill these other areas up. And offhand, I'm not seeing anything that I might be missing. Oh, I'm gonna go downstairs and tear the buggy up. It's funny how the quality of life gets turned into, how the skill gets turned into a quality of life change, because it used to irritate the crap out of me so much when I would break these vehicles down, and because of the stuff I'm naturally wearing, I'd be able to take part of it, and then I'd have to leave like one or two things behind when I ran to a box or something like that. But now it doesn't seem to be a problem. All right, so before we do that, I don't think, pretty sure I emptied it, right? Yeah, she's empty. She's gonna lose some fuel. She had a lot of fuel in her, but oh well. Nothing I need to go get out there. Definitely not squabbling over a fuel cell. I got a bunch. So, before we take it apart, let's make sure she's in good shape, which she's not. Ooh.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
I wondered when you were going to do that, lady. I hadn't heard her in a long time. I was kind of surprised. So these treads are getting a little questionable. Just a tad. That's in perfect shape. It's funny I made that, said that story. You'll notice that all of my treads are at about the same. Just a little under 3/4, except this one. That's because when I was taking the buggy apart one time, I didn't have the space for a complete tread. So when I broke it down, it fell on the ground. I didn't realize that. And then when I went to put it in the deep desert base, put it back together, I was like, why do I not have a tread? And then I came back here and it was laying on the ground still. So I had made it in enough time. So I picked it back up and I was like, oh my God. But I'd already made a replacement and put it on. No, it wasn't laying on the ground. I came to look and it wasn't laying on the ground, so I thought it disappeared, but it actually was in a box that I was using to move things over. It had just gone into an upper spot, which is why I didn't think I had it. So I made a brand new one, then I found it later. In fact, it's up there in one of the boxes. I can actually show you where it is, but all right, so she's in good shape. So we are going to detach. I don't like the fact that we lose our colors. So I'm going to have to put a color scheme on this bad boy when we get her back in there. That extra volume.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
Also don't like the fact that when you take it apart and you put it back together, it changes its name. So if you have your buggy or whatever you've got with a set name, it will no longer be called that. But you know what? I need to do something else. Glad I thought of this. We need to get our sand bike out of that. What's the point of being water sealed? Now I just got to make sure I don't try to do missions without coming back here. I didn't have to come all the way up here. There's nothing I really need from that. Oh, that reminds me. Let's take a look at our water situation. See if we can drop to a different water container. And this is why you're seeing me drag them over one at a time, because I don't want to get them lost. That's how the other thing happened. So we still got that guy right there. All right, so chassis, 4 treads. We got a front, a back. PSU, engine, cutter array, and the boot. So we're good. Ah! Alright, let's move you up there into that spot just to take up the space. And now we can move this, all those vehicle parts. Didn't have to log out there. Move that into the container. I like to do the chassis first. That way, when you go to build it, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to search through it. And I can't just send these over because, again, they'll get lost. 3 and 4. Here, I've got a Mark V cutter array. I don't remember where I got this. It says testing station, but I don't know. It's not even an improved one. It's just a regular bugger. Don't know. Let's go backpacking. Put that in. Let's go, Bill. Yeah, we're starting to get some glitchiness from the end storm. And we'll add this to it. Why not, right? Could always use more water. $15, $16, $17, $18 to $180,000 water. That definitely will get the machines going, won't it? I just knocked my mouse, hit the camera. I got cutter arrays out in my own house. Crazy. What I was talking about earlier, there's a bunch of stuff in here. And this is what I use to make a very small example base for the video. So that's why there's holes in the storage container. I try to keep it pretty close. So if I need, like, let's say I need a 3,200 plastonian or plastone just to build the structure itself, I would probably bring 25, but that's the most I'd want to go over, you know. But I do have some odd numbers here. Combat's only 18. Only 18 in combat, man? You've been doing dungeons all over the place. The problem I'm having with the electric dungeon now is I've got the pattern down pretty well, but it seems like if I mess that pattern up, I pay a heavy price. I end up getting shocked and shot, like, immediately. It's like, dude, the worst possible time to mess up the pattern. I'll get hit. Then I died once because it electrocuted me up the wall and I couldn't move. I did manage to knee charge off the wall when I realized that, you know, your normal movement keys weren't working, but then I just right into the electric blast and down I went. Silliness, but I'll tell you, with the new static needle I'm using and that combat bonus, what do I have, by the way? 38. It's almost 40% bonus on combat. Stabby stabs are pretty good. Hour and 20. Well, that's a shame because I thought I had way more preparation work to do, but apparently things have held. Key points I would make is to make sure that you check on the health of your container, because if it breaks, all that stuff's on the ground, and if you're not there to pick it up, it all goes away. I couldn't even calculate how much time is sitting in my container right now, because the buggy, whatever. You know, it didn't take long to get, I mean, it's a tier 6 buggy, but it didn't take that long to get it. It kind of was just along for the ride. But like the carrier, all that plastanium, all the spice that's sitting in there. Um, there's a lot of my time sitting in that box, and far too much for me to be mentally and emotionally okay if it were to just disappear. That would bother me. So yeah, grab your welding torch and check the health status on your storage container. It's better now than it was. At first, those things were like paper thin, man. They would just shred. And them heavy, deep desert storms did not care. We are going to do a quick check on all of these pieces. They should be good. I'll tell you what, I'm actually going to do it with a torch because the construction tool isn't going to do anything. There we go. Look at us. Now we're playing like we know what we're doing. We're not close enough. There we go. And we got a little bit of time on them. It's so minor. It's good though. That just goes to show you also the damage that was done to this thing for no reason. Because I repaired everything together at the same time. I did take this out when I was making the video about taking a buggy out into the deep desert and just flying it back and forth. That was the only time I used this. Otherwise, you know, everybody should have been full, but nope, she got some damage on her. Like some investigations, please. Funcom. Nope. There might be one other thing. It might be an issue. I want to make sure she's got a full tank of gas before we start. Oi. You'd think there'd be fuel cells in here. You would be wrong. They're supposed to be. Somebody used a bunch and then didn't put them back. Not going to take that many. At least not to fill this up, but keep in mind, once we get out there, we're going to have a buggy and a sand crawler that we're going to have to fuel up, so... I'm going to do it. Like I said, we want 100. Okay, whoa. So now we'll just put those in here. Put a full one there. That at least will fill up that gap. I still got to get some footage based on the materials I brought back versus what I took out. So that's why I got to leave the stuff that's in the assault. It worked out well. Probably switch this out too. Other than that, man, it's making sure we got a bunch of water, making sure we got everything we need. Always yawning. Garbage. What's that say about my content? It's so bad I can't even stop yawning myself. Puppy is gone. 45. So, there we are, folks. I think we're ready to go. Like I said, the supplies are starting to run, right around 50%, and I would like to get them up higher. Um, Anytime I run down to about a quarter, like 25% of what I could have or what I did have, that's in my mind critical. That's when I act. So we're just basically getting a jump on a necessity here. I want to be able to, when something pops up, do it. Says the guy who still hasn't done his Atreides mission for hitting level 19 or whatever it is. But that guy's been hanging out for like a week. Good on him. But anyway, but yeah, that's why we're doing this. And plus, I do kind of miss the deep desert. Um, I think a break will do good to split up some of the timing. Oh, we also have something else we got to do, folks. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered this. Boop. Let's take a look at our skills. Because one issue we have is I did kind of make a change and built myself more for combat since we're going to be doing dungeons and fighting our way through stuff. So, we took a lot of skills here. Didn't max them out yet, but we're getting points. A lot of skills here. We did a bunch in Swordmaster. I think we'll be all right. We did a lot with the weapon damage. But one thing we didn't do is a whole lot of work in Planetologist. Now, originally, before I had to fight for my life in all these combat situations, I had maxed out tons of these things. Just to make sure that when I was collecting items, when I was gathering resources or farming, that I was getting the most I possibly could. And I had forgotten that I hadn't upped these yet. Again with the yawning. God. Somewhere around here. I don't know if it's Planetologist, possibly Mentat. Who is it? I thought it was Planetologist. Somebody gives you, like this is a sandcrawler yield and a vehicle mining, but you also have compactor. Do gathering, I wouldn't really care. Here you go, cutting array mining. So I'm not getting the amounts that I used to get. And I noticed that when I went out and was getting spice here in Haga, because it was only about 1,000 short of making a batch. Actually, I made two. But I was 1,000 short of being able to make two batches. So I started one up, then I went out and just hit whatever fields were laying around. And I used to be able to pull like 580 when I was compacting, and now I was getting like 550. It's like, dude, what? Oh, yeah, that's right. I would be ashamed to head out there with my sandcrawler and, why would I walk away from a 15% yield? So I want to make sure I get that. I would really love to not have to respec because I'm kind of okay with where I'm at. I can deal with the problems I have. Like, I don't have much fuel efficiency. I don't have the durability on the vehicles and stuff, but I got what's kind of important. And I don't really want to respec. That's the smart thing to do, to respec, reattribute your skills, because, you want to be more combat focused if you're going to do combat. And you do have a timer, so you can't just keep doing it like over and over and over again. It takes, I think, 48 hours. So what you want to do there is respec. I need sleep. I've been sick all weekend too, so that's another reason why this is happening. But and what's funny is once I set the stream off, probably on like twice before I end up going to bed at 11 o'clock because I'll find something I have to do. But anyway, the object here would be to respec into a more farming and mining build and then do that for several days. And then once you're done and got everything you need, then you could respec back into combat and then go back out and go fight and do some dungeons and stuff like that. Honestly, though, I can't get that far into it. I'm like, It's kind of a hassle. I mean, it would make life better, but nah. So, um, I really would love to get that up to the 20%, but I need 2 more skill points. And no way to get them. Come on, man. Yeah. Ah! Ah! Show you a way to get them right now. So always keep a little bit of melange in this box. It's getting down. That used to be 500. Well, it was 500 that I split into 250, 250 because bringing it over just wasn't all that much. Oh, guess what we're doing? Was the only one I cleared. Did 5 missions. It's the only one I cleared. Well, yeah, we got into the middle section, so it makes sense. Okay, but the awesomeness there is we got our skill points now. So I'm going to up my sandcrawler yield just so, you know, I get an extra 20%. Before we do that, though, we should look. There's so many things here I wish I could have gotten. I didn't even bother with the capstones here, man. Never use this. You know? Let me know if you use the Solido decoy. I think that would work pretty well in PvP if they didn't see you doing something. You know, it's go after you. It would 100% work on me, and I'd feel like such a douchebag afterwards. I'd be like, I can't believe that worked on me. Can't believe I let that happen. Just do that. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. We'll be okay. Not too upset about that. Fuel cells are cheap. Not too upset about that. I barely ever scan. I don't really care about that because fuel cells are cheap when you use them on ground vehicles as well as piloting. This I maxed out. That would be nice. Just to make things last a little longer, but yeah, we'll go ahead. I wasn't sure. I wanted to check and make sure there wasn't anything better, but yeah, we'll get that. Next up, we'll probably try to get this. Don't care. Don't care. That's handy, but the middle. I got big canteens. That's right, we got to do a canteen thing. That would kind of be nice. That would kind of nice to have. Oh, there's the compactor yield. The reason I didn't care about this and didn't go for it was because before I respec'd, I had it. But now I'm like, you know what? Most of the time when I'm getting spice, I'll be getting it with the sandcrawler, which is totally not true. I mean, you're flying around, you see spice laying on the ground like I just did. I did miss the bonus percentages because, like I said, I used to be able to get like 580 plus, and now I was doing like 530, 550. So I was somewhat sad, but I'll be all right. I will just stick with sandcrawler yield. It's faster, safer, and better. And we'll go ahead and leave that unlocked. But there's a couple skills we want to get. But, yep. I think we're set. There's probably some minor things here and there that we could do. One thing we can definitely do is put the melange back in the box. I don't do this so many times. Oh my gosh. I'll be like running around, be like, why do I have no space? Oh, because you didn't put the stupid melange back in the box. But yeah. So, tomorrow I will not be streaming because it's Tuesday, and we will get out there and we will build the same combo base that we've been using. It's working out pretty well. I think we might invest in a little bit more water production. I'm not sure how I want to do that. I could squeeze one more large wind trap up on the roof, or even if I had to put a couple smalls if I absolutely had to. But I do have the roof space to put more wind traps, so I could generate it that way. I've got some floor space where I could go from the 2 desk stills that I usually do to running 4. That would definitely up it. The wind traps are great for building up a reserve, especially when you're not playing. So like when I'm turning the game off, I go to bed or I go to work or I'm eating dinner or whatever I'm doing, that's still generating water. Not much, but it's still generating water. It does it without me thinking about it. Whereas a desk still makes a whole bunch of water in a very much short amount of time, but you have to be there. You're kind of participating. You got to put the body in there, then you got to wait the 50 minutes, and you got to put another one in there. But the way I found it is I like the wind traps for building up a reserve, and I use the death stills to take care of an immediate need. So if I know I'm going to go do a bunch of spice or something like that, I'll throw some bodies into the death stills. That way it just kind of, boom, hits hard and gets that 40,000 into the tanks real quick after the 50 minutes. But I haven't decided which route I want to go. I think it's really going to depend on how successful we are out there. I'm going to bring the materials to build at least one more wind trap and 2 more death stills, and then we're going to see what happens. If it's holding pretty steady and I'm not out producing myself, then we may just dump another wind trap up in the roof and let things roll. If we are constantly getting ourselves into a problem where I've got raw materials but can't do anything with it because we're short on water, then death stills it is. I have luckily replenished my dead people boxes. I don't want to use this one because these 2 are from dungeons. Doesn't matter, they don't taste any different. But so this one's completely full, and so is this one. So I got 2 full boxes of corpses just waiting to go into a death still. I keep them here, but I don't ever really use the death stills I have. I have the 2 sitting right there. I just don't ever really use them. So these might make their way out to the deep desert. What do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think 5 is going to do it, but we are running a little light on space. Let's bring another 5 just in case. Guess I should be taking them from up here. These are the, I'm going to make sure we rotate stock. If you got a retail background, you know what I'm talking about. That'll work. That still leaves us about 20 spaces, including the ones that are up here, and we should be in good shape. So tomorrow I'll get the base built, and come Wednesday we'll be out there making things happen. Like I said, plastanium and spice are both on the menu. Let's do numbers. How was that sound? The Landsraad? But anyway, we'll do numbers. I want to get I want to do at least 5K in plastanium. I don't know if I want to put spice on a number. Because the problem with doing 5K, like I got multiple boxes waiting for plastanium, but I don't have a whole lot here. So 1 stack is 100, And I have about 1,500 space. We'll do another 5. We'll do 5K. 5K in spice, 5K in plastanium. Those are the minimum numbers that I want to do. Does that come out right? That's 500, and that'd be 1,000. That would take us to 3. Yeah, so 5K in each one is the minimum numbers that I want. If we are lacking somewhere, then that becomes our focus. But it's going to take some work. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's doable. So we will see what happens when we get out there. But come Wednesday, base will be built. Everything will be up and running. And I'll probably make a couple new boxes just to keep it straight. So might change the way the base looks a little bit. I'll destroy them before I scan the copy. That way it'll make more sense. But anywho, we're set. We're ready to go. Going to be an exciting day tomorrow, and then I will see everybody on Wednesday. Like I said, I've been a little sick, so I didn't have the voice to do the video recording for the video that was supposed to come out Sunday. So I'm going to see if I still have it in me to get it done tonight. If not, I will get it done tomorrow before I play. And that way we will have that out, and by Wednesday we'll be talking about it. It's actually a very big project, so awesome. We might be able to trim up the Fremen Finds one that we just did, and we'll see if we can get that out there just to keep the content flowing. But good stuff. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in. Got big plans for everything, and no, I will not be playing Marathon. So that's that. But anyway, like I said, like, subscribe, share. Those things always help the channel out. Let everybody know. And as always, I will see you out there, guys. Take care.